David had lived in his new home for only a few months when he began to notice something unusual. Every time he pulled into the driveway, his neighbor Karen, who also happened to be the loudest voice in the neighborhood HOA, was watching. At first, he brushed it off as simple curiosity, but soon it became clear. Karen had made it her mission to monitor every move he made. She complained about the color of his garden chairs, the size of his mailbox, and even the fact that he occasionally left his truck parked in the driveway overnight. David tried to be polite, smiling and responding calmly, but nothing seemed to satisfy her. One particularly hot afternoon, Karen marched up to his porch with a stack of papers. "You're behind on your HOA dues," she announced. David calmly replied that his payments were always on time, and even offered to show her the receipts. But Karen waved her hand dismissively. "If you don't pay, I'll have your power shut off. You won't last a day in this heat." David almost laughed. She had no idea who she was threatening. What Karen didn't know was that David had worked for the local utility company for over 10 years. Not only was he familiar with every regulation, but he also had access to the exact process by which service disconnections were approved or denied. 2 days later, just as she had promised, David found a notice on his door claiming that his electricity was scheduled for disconnection. Most people would have panicked, but David simply drove to work the next morning and pulled up the request. As he suspected, it had been filed under false claims, initiated by the HOA board at Karen's insistence. David flagged the request immediately, filed it as fraudulent, and forwarded the case to the compliance department. Within hours, an official letter was sent to the HOA, warning them that falsifying service requests could result in heavy fines and even legal action. That evening, Karen showed up again, visibly shaken. Instead of her usual smug tone, she was defensive, accusing David of going behind her back. But David didn't lose his cool. He simply handed her a copy of the utility company's warning notice and reminded her that electricity service was regulated by law, not by her personal opinion. The color drained from her face. She realized she had no authority over his utilities, and that she could get into serious trouble if she pushed further. From that day forward, Karen kept her distance. The neighborhood seemed a little calmer, and several neighbors quietly thanked David for standing up to her. David never flaunted his victory, but he felt a quiet satisfaction. Karen had learned the hard way, some power was untouchable.